Hello and welcome to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly, and I just got out of San Andreas. Now, normally I'd be doing my little jump cut thing because it was just me by myself in the theater, but I want to get this video out a little bit faster, and I wanted to kind of keep it simpler. So, here's just my final verdict for those who don't want spoilers. This movie was very, very generic. There was really nothing setting it apart from all the other disaster films that I know that you've seen out there. 2012, Day After Tomorrow, Independence Day, The Core. It doesn't matter. There's really nothing that sets it apart from any of the others. It's just a bunch of things happening. So it was. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't something horrible or anything like that. It just was meh. So my final verdict for it is wait till Redbox, maybe Netflix it. It's not worth a ticket price unless you get one of those 4D D-box seats they have down at Stadium 10. But, yeah, it wasn't bad. I don't regret spending money on it, but if I had the choice, knowing exactly what the movie was going to be beforehand, I probably wouldn't. But that's just my opinion. For those that want to stay for spoilers, as I said, this movie is just really, really generic. Now, a lot of people have a lot of problems with the disaster movie, just genre in general. As you know, it's got no story. They're always heavy-handed and blah 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 blah. Character development. Look, the disaster movies are meant to do one thing: show a story about survival. That's it. They're the Walking Dead of film. And that's it. Now you see, here's the difference. The movies are over in an hour and a half to 2 hours. The Walking Dead is still going on and people are praising it. No story at all, just survive. Okay. And when in a movie standpoint, I can respect this disaster film a lot more because it's meant to show off destruction, destroying a set, or a bunch of really cool CGI. And to this film's credit, they actually did try to mix that up. A lot of the Hoover Dam actually did. They actually built a lot of that set and broke it into pieces and smashed it up. Although you can tell where the green screen line is for everything else. Exactly where. Oh, everything behind that point? Yep, that's green screen. It's pretty obvious. But yeah, they actually did try to mix it up with some of this stuff. Uh, so they didn't use as many practical effects as I wish they had, but for what it was, they mixed enough of them in for me to say I never was actually bored in the movie. But yeah, it's all CGI destruction. You've seen it in every major summer blockbuster ever, and as I said, it's just generic. From the disaster movie standpoint, it was just surviving all the earthquakes that San Andreas sends out. Basically, the plot of the movie is San Andreas sits on a fault line. And the fault line decides to, like, immediately. And the entire line goes up. I mean, seriously, it's like giant new Grand Canyon that literally breaks off San Andreas from the mainland, or San Francisco, from the mainland by the end of this. But yeah, the earthquakes start in Nevada and start just moving along it, getting progressively bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until the final one, which was like I think they said it was like a 9.6, right in the heart of San Francisco. Just seeing all these skyscrapers topple down, causing a tsunami that ends up flooding the entire city, killing God knows how many people. It's, again, all this is generic. You've seen this before. You saw this all happen in Man of Steel when Zod is trying to terraform the Earth with his super machine. You saw this in The Core when the heat shield starts breaking down and starts literally melting all of San Francisco. Literally, starting with the Golden Gate Bridge. There is a Golden Gate Bridge destruction scene in this movie. Again, it's not a destruction movie unless they're destroying the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm really surprised just to see that it's even still there with how many times I've seen it blown up and ripped apart inside of movies these days. And that's basically the plot. It's shit happens. The Rock is one of the fire department and rescue people. He and his crew end up flying helicopters around and rescuing people from the middle of nowhere. People who fall into the canyons and the valleys, or people who are just off the coast or something like that. And they always respond to emergency disasters like this. Well, when all this starts going down, Rock gets a call from his wife and his daughter. They're both caught in different ends of this. I think the wife was in Los Angeles and his daughter was in San Francisco. So he's got to go to both cities and try to save them both. And that's basically the movie. There's nothing to talk about plot-wise because, again, survival more. It's a survival story. The showcase here is the destruction. And as I said, it was just generic. They didn't do anything unique, something to stand out. I mean, there is a moment, like with the tsunami, as I said, where the earthquake just starts shaking everything, causing this probably 50-story tall tsunami about to hit the entire city. And they have to drive a boat over. You've seen parts of that inside the trailer. But the effect is so obviously ripped straight from Inception on the water planet. The only difference is that they added a tanker truck inside of it. That's it. And honestly, it wasn't even that big of a deal for The Rock and his wife. They got past it pretty easily with almost no effort at all. The water flooding actually more affected his daughter and the group that she's with. And that's it. Again, this is all just so generic. We've seen this all before. If you're going to do something like this, do something a little bit better. Not better, just different. Give us variety. There's only so many times that people can go, well, the earth shakes. It happens so much inside this movie. I'm surprised I didn't get bored with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't get bored. But that's mostly because I was finding just other things to laugh at. Like the guy who played Reed Richards. Yeah, the guy who played Mr. Fantastic in the 2003 movie is in this one. And he even has a sister named Susan, who's a little bit of a, how do you put it, hard ass towards family? Subtle. That one got a couple of chuckles out of me, I'm not gonna lie. Even though they end up killing Susan off like literally 5 minutes after she's introduced. But yeah, it's just like little things in the background, you know, a couple of cheeky jokes here and there. I really hate the fact that Roy Harper ended up leaving Arrow this last season just to cameo inside of the beginning portion of this movie. Admittedly, he gets to work with The Rock, so step up. But yeah, it's the little things in the background just kind of kept me enjoying. It's like when they land in AT&T Park, I've been there. Oh, that's nice. They actually shot there. That's really good. There's no green screen line or anything. Huh. You know, just little things that just caught my eye. The destruction, everything, you've seen it all before, and I wouldn't waste your money on going to see it again. They hired The Rock, which I have stated before that he is a stupid actor. He excels at roles that make him do and say stupid things. And they didn't give him anything stupid to do or say. I mean, it's just your straight up hero doing hero things. And yeah, this movie's lowest points are when it's not focusing on the destruction, though. It's when it's focusing on the characters themselves. And yeah, you have to have character development. You got to build these characters. You give them the beginning story arcs for the first 15 minutes of the film, and then the rest of the movie, they're basically working through those to have a somewhat happy ending at the end. Fair enough. It happens in all of these films. My big problem with it is though that it's just not interesting. We again, it's all been done before. The Rock is his wife ends up leaving him to go to Reed Richards, who ends up just being a dickhead anyway, because you couldn't just have him be, a good guy who ends up with the tragedy of dying. I don't know, too different. We have to have a bad guy. Show him do stupid things for stupid reasons. And yeah, the only real performance that stands out in my mind as being any good is Paul Giamatti, and he has nothing to do with anything. Literally, he's just there to give the exposition. He's a scientist who is studying how to predict earthquakes, and he and his partner end up testing their theory at Hoover Dam when all this shit starts happening. Sure enough, his partner gets axed and he ends up going back home in Caltech, which I'm trying to think of exactly where that is, but because I don't know where it is in California. He ends up getting hit with the earthquakes too, but he doesn't die. He just stays there and turns to the camera and says, "God help us all." And he was good, but he was believable, and he was very well written for what he was. My problem is that he never actually coincided with The Rock. They're two completely different stories. Paul Giamatti's is over here and finished in like 5 minutes, and then The Rock's is the rest of the movie. Wouldn't it have made more sense if the groups had ended up coinciding and doing a lot to save more people or something? Again, missed opportunity, but Paul Giamatti was great in this role. In fact, I scarce to think of a role that he isn't great in these days. I mean, even in as the Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2, he was actually pretty good. It's pretty accurate to the comics, and I did like the idea that they were going for. My problem is that Rhino wasn't in the movie more than 5 minutes. He's the 5-minute actor. Let's just sell the movie on his fame and name. But yeah, other than that, everything was just so wholly generic. I can't say it was bad. It's just I didn't have anything else to do or say. I mean, I probably have said that so many times in this, you could probably start a counting gag. Someone do that if they can. I don't want to spend time editing. I got a few other projects I'm working on. But, yeah, I guess final verdict, wait till Netflix. Wait till Redbox. It just isn't worth spending your money. It was just too generic. Go see Mad Max. Go see Avengers again. Go see... There's so many good ones that are just starting to come out. Just popping out left and right. We're in the middle of summer. So, yeah. That's all for me. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Did you see San Andreas? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going here. And... yeah, don't forget to share the video with your friends. I'll see you all next time.